Looking at the all-important flower room in cannabis production. This is, of course, a zoomed in of a flower here. Ideally, you'd want an entire room full of these flowers to produce high amounts of cannabinoids and terpenes. So the flower room is typically called the money room, or is it? It's often referred to as the money-making room, like little bars of gold for the plants, even though its productivity depends heavily on the treatment and care during the time the plants spent in the vegetative room. So while this is, considered the money room because you can consider the little flowers here as little bars of gold, but really it's treating those plants well in the vegetative room to prepare them for this flowering room is a very critical part of this process. So the lighting for a flower room, high pressure sodium lights or full spectrum LEDs are recommended. These high pressure sodiums kind of give that kind of yellowish look, and full spectrum LEDs will produce a very bright and clean white light. This should be the largest room. If we're looking at vegetative rooms and cloning rooms, this should be the largest because plants are going to be full-sized in this area. We could transplant the plants as they go in. So plants can be transplanted into larger containers, which should be the largest you're going to use since plants will reach full size in this room. So some people, as they go from vegetative to flowering room, may decide to up-pot their plants. However, it's important not to shock your plants during this time. So if you're transplanting at the same time you're moving the plants, you need to allow a few days for adjustment before changing the photoperiod to 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness to help reduce plant stress. Be mindful of the amount of changes, such as the container, the photoperiod, the room locations. Could be slightly different in environmental conditions just indicative of the rooms. The stresses you put on your plant at one time. What many growers will do is they'll first up-pot the plants and move them to larger containers, then move the plants and wait a few days before flipping the photoperiod to induce flowering. This will allow those plants a little bit of time to adjust and not create much of a shock or a stress on those plants to help allow them to maintain very high yields despite going through a couple changes here without causing any loss or damage to those plants that's grower induced.